Now then, opening statements, I think. A summary of the case, if you please. Uh-oh, I don't know anything about it. Certainly, my lord. As your lordship is aware, this is a case of overwhelming simplicity. We must be the only ones in here who aren't aware. The incident took place in the late evening, 3 days past. The hour was some minutes after 10. The victim was a maker of building bricks known to the community as Thrice Fired Mason. Sorry, thrice? He was a very accomplished craftsman. The bricks he fired were said to be almost indestructible. Oof. The victim's corpse was discovered in an omnibus in service on the streets of London at the time. A dagger that had been thrust into the victim's abdomen is believed to be the ultimate cause of death. Here's the autopsy report from the investigating medical officer at Scotland Yard. Thank you, Counsel. I shall accept that and the photograph as evidence. Let's look at it right away. Oh, these are colored photographic prints. This is in color. There's a button missing. Is this gonna be relevant somehow? His head looks so old and all patched up. Seems like he was pretty poor then. Name Thrice Fired Mason, age 54, brickmaker. Time of death 15th February, 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. Stabbed once in the abdomen with a knife whilst journeying in an omnibus. Died due to internal hemorrhaging resulting from the trauma. Oh, armband. Oh, I inherited this from Kazuma, which means, oh, this identifies me as a Japanese lawyer. Very nicely made. Oh, yeah, 双翼一增. Okay, that's Kazuma Asugi. Asugi Kazuma. Probably. The lawyer's name is embroidered in the inside here, look. Kazuma Asugi. This was his band, of course. He had his heart set on the study tour in Great Britain. I'm sure he would have found the truth he longed for here. But he lost his life before he even had a chance to see the place. I have such a strong sense of his hopes and dreams when I look at this armband, though. Okay. So, the kanji depicted here have special meaning. I guess it says Asugi Kazuma because in the East we always say the last name first and then the given name. Yeah, I just wanted to talk about the meanings of the kanji. So the second character means double, and the third character means justice, which fits. And the last two characters mean one truth. So that's very nice. What a nice name. No wonder he became a lawyer. And one further item of evidence. The prosecution wishes to submit these as well. Gloves? And these are? Good lord! Is that blood, Counsel? Yes, my lord, seized by a policeman who arrived at the scene. These gore-soaked gloves were taken from the hands of the accused when he was arrested. What? Mr. McGilded gloves had blood on them? Yes, I will accept these as evidence as well. The leather gloves the defendant was wearing at the time of the incident. Bloodstain on the right glove. This is definitely blood, isn't it? Not the most pleasant sight to be confronted with on our first day in London. Well, nothing will come of grumbling now. No, by the way, is Mr. McGilded right-handed? Yes, I believe so. He was toying with a coin in his right hand a little earlier. Pity. If only he'd been left-handed. I think blood on either glove would be fairly incriminating, really. I think so too. This is not good. How did I get into this? I'm backed into a corner before I've even started. Continuing. According to the driver of the omnibus, there were only 2 passengers traveling inside his vehicle at the time. Only 2? Obviously, one of those passengers was the deceased brickmaker, Mr. Mason. The other was the accused, Miss Magnus McGilded. Well, rather damning circumstances to say the least. Defendant would say you. Well, of course, I have no recollection of such a thing. Wait, what? Mr. McGilded. To be sure, I rode the omnibus that evening, but whenever I'm in a carriage, I'm taken with a fierce tiredness and always succumb to it. Are you claiming to have been asleep? 'Tis the motion of the carriage, my lord, lilting so it is, and when I opened my eyes again, 'twas a desperate sight before me, the body of a man I'd never laid eyes on before in my life. Now I ask yours, what good-hearted soul wouldn't rush to help a fella bleeding from his stomach? I wasn't about to start worrying about me gloves now, was I? I reached out to give the man a hand. So the blood got onto the gloves then, after the man had been killed. Unfortunately, that statement of the driver's is only the beginning. What? That's not all of it? There were multiple witnesses to the precise moment at which the brickmaker was fatally stabbed. Order! Order! What? When the killing took place, only the victim and the accused were inside the carriage, and there were witnesses to the crime. This is not just a case of compelling evidence. It's the nail in the coffin for the accused. Thank you, counsel. The circumstances of the crime have been made quite clear. I think we will hear testimony from these witnesses first of all. What about my opening statement? I have nothing to say, I guess. Your wish is my command. Bailiff, bring the witnesses in at once. Oh god, so many witnesses. Witnesses, your names and occupations. My name is, well, everyone calls me Beppo. I drive an omnibus in the East End. Bruce Fairplay, I'm a banker in the city. My name is First, Lady First. What? I make hats for gents. Let's begin by confirming the facts. 3 days ago, at a short time after 10 o'clock in the evening, all of you present in the stand were in an omnibus and witnessed to the aforementioned incident. Is that correct? Yes, sir. Quite right. Yes, sir, that's right, sir. Very well then, let's proceed to your formal testimonies, please. Each of you will tell the court precisely what you saw. the last bus of the evening, though I had a few customers. I remember it well. The victim and the man accused of killing him were sat next to each other inside the bus. Then out of the blue, the accuser just reached over and plunged a knife right into his guts. That's right, he stabbed him. I screamed, I did. Couldn't help it. Where were you all? I thought there were only 2 passengers on the bus. As soon as I heard the scream, it stopped my bus, and then I saw it too. Unambiguous testimony, I must say. Exactly, my lord. These men witnessed the incident in the omnibus with their very own eyes. I'd like to ask a question, if I may. Yes, counsel? Well, this testimony... It makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. Why not? Well, the incident took place inside a moving carriage, didn't it? This has been clearly stated from the outset, yes. Well, in that case... how could those 2 witnesses possibly have seen what happened? There's no way they could have seen the inside of the moving carriage. How quaint. I'd read that civilization in the Eastern Island nations was a good century behind our own. But you're here in London yourself, and you really are so ignorant about our omnibuses. Huh? Tell me, my Nipponese friend, have you even traveled in an omnibus? Well, no. We only arrived in London this morning. No matter. I've arranged for us all to see for ourselves the actual scene of the crime, that is. What do you mean? The actual scene? How? A carriage is designed to be moved, after all. Presumably you understand that much? Yes? The omnibus in which this bloody crime took place is here today, in this very building. Here? What? The entire carriage? Bailiff? Bring forth the stricken omnibus. Whoa, that's huge. So that's an omnibus. The omnibus. I can't believe they could bring something so enormous in here. Great Britain's courtrooms are amazing. As you can see, the omnibus is pulled by 2 horses and can still carry up to 8 passengers. 4 passengers seated inside in the enclosed cabin and another 4 on the rooftop deck above. Every Londoner knows that the best views of the city's architecture and sights are to be had from the top of an omnibus. And I should point out to our foreign guests that there's a skylight in the roof, allowing a view of the interior from the seats above. Oh! A skylight. Oh! The penny drops at last, I see. These 2 gentlemen were occupying the rooftop seats on this omnibus when the murder took place. That is how they came to witness the grim incident. Through the skylight. That makes perfect sense. Well, counsel, this is a first. In all my years behind the bench, I've never experienced the crime scene itself being brought into the courtroom. There are a number of important clues remaining inside the carriage, my lord. I would like to submit the omnibus itself as evidence. That is the prosecution's wish. Very well, I see no reason why not. This omnibus is hereby formally accepted as evidence. I can't believe it. The entire crime scene entered as evidence? Yes, Great Britain is simply extraordinary. I could help myself a lot by giving that omnibus a thorough examination, seeing as it's here. Okay, let's do it. Phoenix Wright omnibus? What? 418 Omnibus. London Head Office. London 5th Avenue, Job Masters. London Head Office. Baker Street, Strand Street. London 5th Avenue. Well, let's open the door and go inside, shall we? The scene of a murder, it's horrible. I can actually go inside? Oh, wow. Whoa. That's blood that's soaked into the seat. The victim's obviously... Yes, and that seat would be clearly visible from the roof deck. Would you really stab somebody in full view of the other passengers like that, I wonder? Well, it was after dark, and there was a lamp on in here, so perhaps the culprit couldn't see anything outside through the skylight. Whichever way you look at it, doesn't it seem like it was a planned attack? Ah, that's a poster for the Great Exhibition. That's due to start 6 months from now. There's a lot of focus being drawn to this Crystal Tower, the centerpiece of the whole exposition. Oh, the Crystal Tower! It's under construction already, I believe. People all over London must be fizzing with excitement at the prospect of such a grand event. Ah, that's a poster for the Great Exhibition. There's a lot of focus, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's the Crystal Tower. That's just some text. It's quite a large skylight, isn't it? Yes, quite large enough to afford a good view into the cabin from the roof deck. And there doesn't appear to be a handle or catch of any description, so I suppose it can't be opened from inside the cabin at least. Have you seen enough? Let's step back outside then. So this is the roof deck of the omnibus. Oh, you must have a wonderful view of London streets from up here. So people sit all the way up here on bitter winter nights with the cold air rushing past them, and they have to pay money to do so? I can't imagine how cold it must feel. That just made me think of something horrible. Can you imagine being dragged around the city in the freezing cold as a punishment? Perhaps that is the real price you pay to stay out late. You can certainly see inside a carriage through this opening, that's for sure. Yes, and there's a lamp in the enclosed cabin, so I'm sure the witnesses would have been able to see quite clearly. That's not good for us. It's not good. Okay, that's the same. Okay, I think that's everything. Let us continue with proceedings and your cross-examination, counsel. Pray don't expect this Nipponese stray to understand the intricacies of a British court's cross-examination rights. Alright, my first cross-examination in a British court. Focus, Ryunosuke. Focus. There's nothing wrong with that sentence. Next to each other inside the bus. Really?
Hold it!
And you saw them through the skylight in the roof of the carriage? That's right, when you sit up on the top deck, the window's right there at your feet. There was a lamp on inside, so I had a pretty good view. The two of them were wearing hats, and I couldn't exactly make out their faces. But there's not a shred of doubt in my mind that it was Mr. McGilded. How can you be so sure? Well, how can I put it politely? Mr. McGilded is a gentleman of rather small stature. I couldn't have mistaken him for anyone else. Let's not forget that when the vehicle came to a halt, the only people inside the enclosed cabin were the deceased Mr. Mason and Mr. McGilded. There's no room for doubt here. I really wish there was. Okay. Plunged the knife right into his guts. Reached over. He screamed. Let's press on here.
Hold it!
You actually saw the exact moment it happened? Didn't I already testify to that? Or are fair dinkum, hard-working city bankers not considered trustworthy these days? Oh, no, I didn't mean that. This is no good. I've really got his back up. Perhaps you could just tell us what you saw in a little more detail if that's... My lord. Juror number 3, what is the meaning of this? My mind is made up, my lord. Completely and utterly made up. What? Made up about what? I don't like the stinking rich. Never have. They're always up to something or other that they shouldn't be, every one of them. Oh. And that little leprechaun of a man is no exception. Why, he can't fool me. There's no point wasting time listening to any more of this. That's my opinion on the matter anyway. Who are you? That is precisely what I was about to say. As the foreman of the jury, it is my duty to set a good example to my fellow jurors. 2 out of 5? What? What is happening? Let me see. Ah yes, it seems that's how the members of the jury give their verdicts. With fire? Apparently yes. White for innocent and black for guilty. As the 6 members of the jury make up their minds about the case, one by one they each cast a ball of fire into the great scales of justice, as we saw a moment ago. So if those enormous scales fall completely to the black side, does that mean... Let's do our very best to make sure that doesn't happen. Now I'm even more worried than I was before. Very well, the court acknowledges the change in the jury's stance. Counsel for the defense, please continue. This is a nightmare. It is a nightmare. What, 2 out of 5 already give their verdict?
Hold it!
He stabbed him, you say, and you were sitting up on the roof deck, were you? Yes, that's right, sir. I was up on the roof seats. I remember seeing the little gent sitting next to the fellow that was stabbed. I'd been thinking about a new hat design, you see, so I was just gazing absent-mindedly around. But then I happened to look down through the skylight. It was sticking right out from his belly, that huge, great knife. A grim sight indeed. That didn't help me at all. The jury looked like they're even more convinced my client did it than they were before. That appears to have made everyone even more dubious than Mr. McGilded is telling the truth. If only we had some evidence to counter their suspicions. Mr. First. Oh, yes, sir? Is this the knife you saw? Oh, good grief, yes, that's it, the very one, sir. Is that? Yes, Counsel, this is the blade that was driven into the victim's belly like a stake through the heart. That is a blade of considerable size, Counsel. It is, and furthermore, the scabbard is emblazoned prominently with a certain initial. The letter M, which seems oddly familiar. Please, no. M, for Magnus perhaps, or McGilded possibly. Take your pick. It seemed this particular big name in London made a magnificent mistake.
Objection!
But there are M's everywhere. Yes, like a mason.
Objection!
This blade is far too extravagant for a poor brickmaker to have owned. No, this weapon of murder almost certainly belongs to the accused. Not conclusive, but certainly compelling, Counsel. My lord, if you forgive my interruption... I won't forgive it. Let me look at the murder weapon. Could be a W, couldn't it? I mean, that says M, and this says W. That part is the sheath, isn't it? No. Oh yes, the sheath, right. Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, sorry, yes, I just don't really like blades. Oh. Why did I take Kazuma-san's katana then? Those don't seem like the words of a man with a large katana slung from his waist. That's not a blade, that's Kazuma's soul. Anyway, there's no sense in delaying it. Let's see what the blade looks like. Oh, full of blood. Very fancy design, I have to say. Oh, that looks a lot like blood. It surely is blood, the victim's. An Englishman's blood looks a lot like Japanese man's blood. Did you think it wouldn't? Sorry, it's just that we've only just arrived here in Great Britain. I'm finding it a little hard to adjust. Yes, I do understand. But really nothing else. An ornate letter M, undeniably Mr. Magnus McGilded's initial. And it's beautiful Sorry. And it's beautifully gilded too. It must be very valuable, I should think. Ah, what is it? Look at this M. If you turn it upside down, it becomes a W. This could change everything. A W? Yes, this is one of those, turnabout cases. I'm sure of it. Turnabout cases, okay? I'm afraid I don't know at all, but what I'm sure of is that this is an M. Oh, well, that idea was quickly squashed. Susato-san, why? Why, it could be a W, couldn't it? Look at that, a W. Well. Oh, juror number 2, go on. Mr. McGilded is a pillar of society and a gentleman gentleman's word should be sacrosanct. However... Uh-oh. Those of us in service know we must accept hard truths. Wait, what are you about to do? Dispose of the rubbish. Uh-oh. Did I lose the case already? No! I don't wish to cause offense, but I do like to eradicate all traces of filth and crime. I have painstakingly typed every word uttered here today and cross-referenced all the facts. As such, I am now in a position to draw the only logical conclusion. Oh! Now I'm done for. Not again! That's 4 out of 6 jury members who've proposed a guilty verdict. There are only 2 left. We've had it. Every time I press these witnesses for more information, I just make the situation worse. Nevertheless, what we need more than anything at the moment is more information. We're still very much in the dark. I suppose I'll have to keep pressing the witnesses, knowing that more sparks may well fly. We mustn't give up hope that we'll uncover something that will give us a way to fight back. But... Alright, I'll keep trying. I can't give up. I just need to keep calm and listen to the witnesses' statements again. Alright, so when it happened, the only 2 people in the enclosed cabin area were the victim and the defendant. And so help me, 3 whole people witnessed the man I'm trying to defend to do the deed. I don't like to be pessimistic, but we do seem to be in a rather difficult situation here. What am I supposed to think here? Is Mr. McGilded really innocent? Or could it be? No! Before we jump to conclusions, our first task should be to gather information. We need to understand the case much better than we do at the moment. Yes, you're absolutely right. Let's listen to those witness statements again, a little more carefully this time. That's indisputable. We're already pressed on that. As soon as I heard a scream, I stopped my bus and then I saw it too.
Hold it!
What exactly did you see? Oh, well, sir, that would be the passenger, sir. Yes, collapsed on the floor he was. And by the passenger, obviously you are referring to the victim, Mr. Mason, the brickmaker. And then the other passenger had that knife in his hands, like this. By the other passenger, obviously you're referring to the accused, Mr. Magnus McGilded. And then he plunged it down like this, stabbing the other passengers in the belly. What? No, I mean, the timeline is completely wrong, right? First he stabbed him, and then there was the scream. But how is it that how is it that you saw him stab the other passenger after the scream? What? Order! It is hard to believe that one of London's greatest philanthropists, but this is damning indeed. The law knows no philanthropists, my lord, only the innocent and the guilty. Good deeds mean nothing when overshadowed by evil. The truth is everything. Couldn't agree more, sir, the truth. Alright, so when it happened, the only 2 people in the closed cabin area were the victim and the defendant. Okay. The last thing is a little bit weird, I feel like. But what can we present? Stabbed in the abdomen. I can't find anything wrong with these statements. Stabbed once in the abdomen. Stabbed once. Oh, oops. Sorry. I didn't get it. Let's listen to the last statement again. Let's press on the last statement again. Okay, he says Mr. Magnus stabbed Mason, and then he screamed. And he says, after the scream, he stopped his bus, and then he saw it too, and what he saw was how Magnus stabbed Mason again.
Hold it!
The passengers collapsed on the floor. Collapsed on the floor? Collapsed on the floor? That is wrong, right? He was sitting upright in his chair. The other passenger had a knife in his hand. And then he plunged it down like this. Again? No way. He was stabbed once. So what do I do to make the game understand what I'm thinking here? Do I just present the autopsy report to that last statement of his?
Objection!
Let's just consider the implications of that statement for a moment, shall we? That's wrong. What implications, Counsel? Nothing strikes me about it. Okay. Uh-oh. What does strike me is your propensity for the inane, however. I mean, his sentence does not make any sense. Let's press on everything then. Yes, I think it was some time after 10, wasn't it? Oh yes, sir, that's right, sir, yes. Ever so cold, it was freezing, in fact. And you had 4 passengers on board at a time, is that correct? Yes, that's right, sir. Not at all traveling in the same parts of the bus, of course, no. And there were no other passengers when the incident took place? No one alighted, for example? You're quite right with that. No other passengers like that? No, none. So nobody fled the scene of the crime then? I have to say the boss insists on it running. He does every evening, that last bus of the day. But I do wonder sometimes if it's altogether worthwhile. Yes, it's sorry to say. What do you mean by that? Well, what with it being so cold and everything, and only making 20 pence on the run, you see. Yes, I spent that much of at the pub on the way home, just trying to warm up again. I just can't believe it, sir. Can't believe it. Murder on my own bluffs. Too awful to think about. I haven't been able to shake this cold ever since it happened. My lord, I wish to speak. Oh no. Yes, juror number 5, do I take it that you too? Is the master of the London Guild of Coachmen? The idea of a murder being committed in one of the city's carriages is utterly abhorrent to me. It wouldn't be right to make a decision before hearing all the facts, though, I said to myself. But I've heard enough now. Those whores has bolted, as they say. No, please, just keep an open-minded look. Gee up now, Silverblade. The finish is in sight. Is it game over now? Uh-oh. Beppo is a long-standing member of the guild, and I trust what the man says. Oh, thank you, sir. You're too kind, sir. This is too unkind, sir. Which now means that 5 jurors agree to condemn this man. Madam Juror number 6.
Yes, dear, what can I do for you?
You have heard of the testimonies of the witnesses in the stand.
Oh, yes, I certainly have. I still got my hearing, you know.
Then, pray tell, why are you yet to pronounce your leaning?
Well, dear, the thing is, I'm a creature of habit, me. I always go to the park at around this time of day and sit on a nice bench and get on with my knitting.
Okay.
And there's a lovely little park just near where I live. McGilded Park, it's called.
Oh.
The gentleman donated it to the city, you know, to put a smile on Londoners' faces, he said. I can't imagine such a fine young gentleman would have it in him to take another man's life.
He's always doing wonderful things for the city. That's right, a man like that wouldn't stab someone, surely.
Mother, may we go to the Gilded Publishers Library later and borrow some more books?
How many Londoners live with their heads in the clouds? Do you people not know? What kind of a man Magnus McGilded really is? What kind of a man he is? The philanthropist, Magnum McGilded, has enough wealth to purchase the entire city he claims to value so highly. But where did all that wealth come from? Your client is a Shylock, sir, and one with the very darkest of souls. What? What is a Shylock?
The crows!
McGilded lends money to extortionate rates of interest, so his victims have no hope of repaying him. When they default, he takes possession of everything they own. He is a vulture that preys on the weak.
I've never heard any mention of that before.
Your faculties haven't deserted you, I'm sure, madam. So has this thought not crossed your mind? Would a man wealthy enough to buy London in its entirety not have a carriage of his own? What possible reason could this man have had to make use of a public omnibus service? You're not saying that... The victim, a poor brickmaker, had next to nothing to his name save considerable financial liability. It will come as to no surprise that his creditor was the accused, Magnus McGilded. But let it also be known that the very day Mr. Mason was killed was the final repayment date for his debts. Oh! Good gracious! The brickmaker was destitute, he had lost his house, he had not a shilling with which to repay his debts, and in the end, this pitiful soul had the very last thing he owned taken from him, his life. By the merciless philanthropist pretender, Magnus McGilded. I don't believe it! If I might add something briefly, Mr. Sato. You claim that the victim had been lent money by Mr. McGilded, but where's the evidence to support your claim? Ooh! Wine? Is that allowed? Pray forgive the discourtesy of filling my hallowed chalice in a court of law. Aha, there it is, Lord Von Zieg's hallowed chalice. Okay, how can this be considered acceptable? But I find myself in unexpectedly good humor. I had heard ladies from the Far East could show great courage, but I didn't expect to experience it myself. Ah, as judicial assistant to the defense, I am simply doing my job. What a pity that your display of courage is in vain. This is the debtor's ledger, which details all monies loaned by the accused. Monies? Monies? What? You will find the victim's name clearly recorded inside. Oh. Allow me to present this ledger as evidence. And pray forgive the discourtesy of raising my chalice in a toast to the enigmatic East at the same time. Why is it a discourtesy? A marvelous toast, counsel. I will gladly accept this new evidence. Ah, yes, 20 guineas. The victim owed a considerable sum. I mean, if I lend someone money, I don't want them dead, right? Because that means I don't get my money back ever again. Why would I kill someone for their money? I mean, killing someone won't get me my money back, right? This portfolio must contain all sorts of secrets in London's gentry. Oh dear, do you really think we ought to look inside? Well, it's not as though we know any of London's gentry personally, is it? Apart from our great detective friend, perhaps. Actually, I wonder. I assure you, we will not find Mr. Sholmes' name inside. Well, let's see what we find. I can't read any of this. Gosh, it's crammed full of gentlemen's names, isn't it? Well, I suppose they're probably not all gentlemen at all, are they? After all, not everyone in this country is well off. Ah, goodness! What is it? Look at this, do you see the name here? Is it Sholmes? Bruce Fairplay. Oh! Should that mean something for me? Yeah, it is it's the witness. The witness testifying at this very moment. Oh yes, of course, the banker. Why is his name in here? He borrowed 20 guineas, didn't he? Did he? And look, the repayment date is fast approaching. It's possible that this is just a coincidence, of course, but this could be very useful information. Very useful indeed. I suppose that's all inside this.